Everyone, welcome back to the NFA Review channel. We have another exciting product coming to you from Energetic Armament. The last review I did for them, the Vox S, went crazy on YouTube. It had over 500,000 views in a couple days. You guys really loved the performance that can was able to achieve. So today is their first suppressor that they ever made. It is the NYX MOD2. NYX, they got that from the Greek goddess of the darkness or night. So that's kind of neat how each of their cans have a specific meaning. Really lightweight can. Actually, I'm pretty sure that this box itself weighs more than the suppressor inside. So we're going to get to this really quick. Just a reminder, the Vox S that I just referenced, the first review I did for them, I'll be giving that away shortly on Patreon on October 12th. And then we're going to be giving away this actual NYX MOD2 in November, actually November 5th. And then we're going to have another suppressor to give away from CGS Group, their Nautilus 45. That review is going to be coming to you later on after this one. But without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this can, and then we'll head out to that range and see what it sounds like. All right, everything looks well packaged here. We have a manual, a couple decals. We have a takedown tool, really lightweight. Feels like aluminum. Some anti-seize and the suppressor itself. Let's get rid of the box there. Move all that aside. Now, to make the specifications roll a little smoother here, I actually have two of these suppressors in hand, and I've already converted one to the shorter length so we can kind of keep this nice and clear and concise as we can. So I'm going to cover the full length and weight, and then the short length and weight. So the full length version, or should I say configuration, comes in an overall length of 6.5 inches and a weight of 4.15 ounces. And then you have the shorter version, comes in an overall length of 3.7 inches with an overall weight of 2.45 ounces. So again, you're basically cutting everything in half. And I can tell you, this one is light, but the shorter version here, I mean, it feels almost fake, as if this is not real. That's how light this feels in the hand. As far as the material, this is constructed of 100% titanium. Now that is US sourced, DFAR regulated, grade 5 titanium. So the whole thing, from the front cap to the tubes, the 8 baffles, and the 1/2x28 direct thread mount is all grade 5 titanium. So that's pretty sweet. The diameter is, of course, a standard 1 inch on this. Now, as far as a firing schedule, there are no minimum barrel length restrictions on this, just like the Vox S that I already reviewed. So this will handle full auto 22 long rifle, and then semi-auto 22 WMR, 17 HMR, and 5.7 by 28 millimeters. So pretty robust little can, built with some really high grade materials. Now that we have the specifications out of the way, let's cover why this came to be. So this was designed from the ground up to be a modular suppressor, and you're probably wondering why it looks so crazy. Well, that's because Energetic Armament is owned by engineers, and everything they do has to have an exact purpose. Form follows function. So they do work in the aerospace industry. So what this design is webbing. So this is very common, I hear, in the aerospace, aircraft and spacecraft industry. So what it's basically doing is getting rid of all unnecessary material. And what they did is they actually ran through a gauntlet of computer modeling to find out exactly what they didn't need to still achieve the maximum strength needed for the goals that they wanted. This is called FEA. So again, very, very extensive testing and modeling and stress testing to make sure that this can was up to the task and it had nothing on it that it didn't need. So that's why you have that really minimalistic look, but with the webbing, you still maintain the strength, integrity of that outer tube. So really neat there, and really exciting to kind of see the cross between the aerospace industry and the suppressor industry. Now, as far as takedown, again, it does ship with a flat 13/16 wrench. The reason it's so flat is because you might not have a lot of space between a bull barrel or something like that. So they wanted to ship it with something that can fit in tight spaces. Now, you don't need to use this. They wanted to design it so if you lost this, you're still able to take it apart. Now, I have to say, I made an Instagram post the other day about how this felt in the hand to manipulate it. I'm going to get anti-seize grease all over my hands here. And I mean, this isn't a complicated suppressor, okay? It's 4 baffles in the front section, 4 baffles in the other section. So you have an 8 baffle system here. This is a modified K baffle that fit together to perform or to make up one unit. Now, when you manipulate it in your hand though, the simplicity of the design and the precision at which it was machined is really apparent. It's like a really enjoyable can to hold in your hand. It's kind of hard to explain. And in the post, I referenced a fine Swiss watch, you know, a mechanical automatic winding watch, and the sensation you can feel, that tactile feeling you get in your hands when you manually wind the watch. You can feel the vibration of the gears meshing. You get that same feeling with a super lightweight. Again, because it tricks your brain that this is fake. But when you start to manipulate the baffles and fit them together, everything is just perfectly machined. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm nerding out here. I'm a can nerd, but it's definitely a neat product. And then take the front section off, and then you can remove the other baffles. So you have the front section, the rear section with the 1/2x28 threaded mount. I'm not going to take that out. There's really no reason to right now. And then you have the baffles. Now, per the manual, which I did read later, all these baffles are identical, which is nice because, I mean, even though these are titanium, if you do get some sort of sandblasting effect on the first one, that would be technically called a blast baffle. Because they are all identical, you can actually move them up and down the stack depending on any wear patterns you see. So pretty neat there. I actually like that. So again, you just have a standard modified K baffle. And if you guys watched my everything you needed to know about silencers video, you know that K baffles are well known for being high performance baffles that exhibit little to no first round pops. So that's something I'm definitely going to want to listen for out on the range to make sure that this exhibits the same qualities. Now, as far as cleaning and maintenance, I would just use a brush and some solvent. They state in the manual that you can throw this in an ultrasonic cleaner. I personally wouldn't do that. I don't like to put anything in an ultrasonic cleaner unless it is unfinished, you know, raw looking stainless steel. I have heard that over time, God, that is light. I mean, it literally feels like a piece of paper. Sorry, I have heard that over time it can cavitate titanium and aluminum. So, but they are engineers. I'm sure they know more about the metal than I do. If you guys watched the Vox video, then you probably learned about C300 at the same time that I did. That is a really interesting metal. So, I don't know. Maybe you can put it in a cleaner, and if it screws up your baffle, use their no hassle lifetime warranty to get yourself a new baffle stack. So, there's always that. As far as alignment, just line up all the porting on the baffle stack in the same direction. What this will do is also aid in repeatable point of impact shift tuning when you're shooting with a scoped rifle. So you want that first one to line up with the 1/2x28 threads. Flip it over. And then I'm pretty sure you compress the baffle stack with the front section. And again, man, just, God, it's so smooth. I mean, there's anti-seize grease on here, but still. Now, this is captive, so if you flip this over, you have already compressed the first baffle stack with the front section. Okay, so that's why you don't hear moving around. And that's really nice, because now what I can do is line up the porting with the porting in here. The porting's actually running right along here. Slide it over top, flip it, and now I can compress that stack into the one below, and then it'll ensure that all the porting is properly lined up. Go ahead and start threading it on there, and we'll go ahead and finish it off with the wrench. Compress it decently, and you have the full length version. Now, if you wanted to put this in the short length configuration, super simple and actually really fast to do out in the field. Just remove the front cap. Remember, these are captive, so these will stay in place if you don't go tipping the tube over. Put that down and then just take your front cap and move it on over. And that's it. Now, speaking of the front cap, one thing that I kind of wish I saw, but it might have just been the timeline at which they designed the suppressor, which I'm pretty sure it was. It would be kind of nice to see a front wipe adaptable front cap for this. Now, the only way that you'd be able to swap that out is if you sent your suppressor back to Energetic Armament and they had a new front cap design that they can then install, and then they'll take and destroy your old one. You can't have extra suppressor parts laying around at home. So it'd be pretty easy for them to do, I assume, because they can just design it like the Vox. Again, if you haven't seen the Vox S video, go ahead and check that out. But basically what it is the end cap itself has a captive back threaded portion that sandwiches a wipe in there. So technically they can just do the same thing here. That way it'll give the end user the ability to shoot it wiped or unwiped, and it won't matter how they assemble it. So that's something to think about. You probably won't need it though. Now, as far as metering, they actually just did a big independent meter day, and they only had time to do a 16-inch barrel that day. And remember, this is independent. This is with multiple other companies through an independent host that day that was doing all the metering on a 16-inch rifle with Gemtech subsonic ammo in the full-length configuration. At the muzzle, it metered 118 dB, and at the ear, it metered at 116 dB. And then they put it in the short configuration, and at the muzzle, it metered 121 dB, and at the ear, 115. So what does that tell you? If it's metering better at the ear than the muzzle, then this can does really well with the pressure buildup inside. So I am really excited to shoot this thing. Again, if you watched my Everything You Need to Know About Silencers video, you know that I care less and less these days about what the suppressor's metering here. I care more about what it's metering here with the back pressure issues with port pop and stuff like that. So let's grab a couple hosts. Definitely gonna have to shoot the short configuration on the Beretta 21A because it's just made for it. I mean, you can't even feel it on the end of the gun. So we'll grab the little Beretta 21A, we'll grab some other handguns and host, and we'll get out to the range. I have a pretty decent stockpile of CCI standard velocity ammo, so that's what we'll be using today for the video. Stay tuned until the end of today's video because I'm going to be announcing how you can win this and some more information about Suppress Fest 2018, which will be here November 10th. Let's go ahead and hit that range. Yeah. like the Joker in Batman. It's quiet though. All you hear is that bolt, man. It sounded the same to me. Yeah. Actually, the short one might have sounded a little better. I don't know. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's review. It was certainly fun to shoot it. Hopefully it was fun to watch. I would say my favorite host today, or combination, would be the Beretta 21A in the short configuration. While it's not the quietest, certainly enjoyable to shoot without ear protection on. And I have to say, as far as a micro can goes in that configuration, it was the only time I was able to shoot it without discomfort, without adding water. Which brings me back to the manual I read on the suppressor. They stated that it's hearing safe in all configurations. You do not need to add water, specifically stated. So I didn't waste time today and shoot it wet. We didn't need to. It was actually really enjoyable. Had a really metallic, clanky sound to it, and I'm gonna attribute that to what it's made from. So this is 100% titanium. So when you start utilizing different metals within the same unit, you can change the tone. So there's a suppressor coming out soon that's gonna have a carbon fiber tube. Okay, that's gonna have a really low, dull tone to it. If this was aluminum, it would have its own sound. Stainless, so you get the idea. The all titanium construction led it to have a really hollow sounding mechanical clanky sound to it, which sounded pretty cool on the Beretta. On the Ruger 2245, sounded great, especially in the long configuration. Now, where the real magic happened was on the rifle. And to me, it sounded better with the short version than the longer version on the rifle. And I'm gonna attribute that to back pressure, which also reflects what they found during their third-party testing. Literally, like, all you heard was this. That's it. It's like the gun was just dry firing, but the action was moving. I believe the action on a 1022, don't quote me on this, I want to say it's around 109 dB. So I mean, super quiet at the ear. And it doesn't add much length to it or weight. So for those of you out there that are getting your youngins into hunting, perfect platform to shoot some squirrels or whatever, pop their cherry, do some woods walks with them. It's not going to add much overall length, so it's still going to be nice and wieldy, and then it's not going to add much weight, so got a winner there. So hope you enjoyed today's video on that. I think the retail price was $425 in the raw and $450 with the high temperature black Cerakoting on it. So only a difference of 25 bucks. To me, I actually prefer that nice raw look. You can see the nice webbing and the machining on it. Now, you will get an opportunity to win this suppressor, this actual suppressor. I have two of them. I'm giving one of them away, and I'm keeping the other one because it's freaking awesome. So I'm giving away, my next giveaway on Patreon is October 12th. That's for the Vox S that I just reviewed for them last week. And then I'm giving away this suppressor on November 5th. And then a CGS Group Nautilus 45 on December 5th. So from now until December 5th, I'm giving away suppressors on Patreon in addition to $600 in gift cards each month. So that's just my way of repaying you guys for helping support the operating costs of the channel. So, and a big kudos to the companies that are helping out with that. Now, I do the best I can filming these reviews, getting the tone as close to real life as possible. I set my microphone a certain way. I have a special microphone, special settings in the camera. Nothing gets changed in between the unsuppressed to suppressed shots. So it's as accurate as I can possibly record, okay? That being said, if you want to really know what these sound like in person, you're gonna have to try them in person. And I have an event for that on November 10th. It's Suppress Fest 2018. It's gonna be out here where I film. And I'm gonna have 20 companies out here that you guys can choose from. Here's the banner, take a look at that. They're all gonna be here, ammo included, and raffle prizes included, and the raffle prizes are freaking crazy. All proceeds going to charity. So check the link out in the description below. You can either go to suppressfest.com and RSVP there. By doing so, you're automatically entered in for a VIP pass giveaway. You can also RSVP on Facebook. Now, please do so if you plan on coming, because it gives me an idea of what to plan for as far as food and ammo and stuff like that, because we will have food trucks on site. So try not to ramble too much, guys. A lot of info to cover today in today's video. So hopefully I covered all the talking points. This product definitely gets an A+ in my book. I am keeping my other one, and one lucky winner out there is going to get the one that I used today. So until next time, click that like and subscribe button, guys, because you don't want to miss anything.